Hey guys, Asher coming at you today, Watcher of Realms. Welcome to the video, guys. I'm glad to have you all here chilling with me, talking a little bit of Watchers today. And honestly, guys, I screwed up just about everything that one can screw up.
Again, like you always do.
When it comes to gear inside Watcher of Realms. Now, the cool thing about this game is there's no way to ruin your account, so to speak. You could accidentally, I guess, sell a good piece of gear or something like that, but you're not going to ruin your account. But you can waste resources and time as well. So I want you guys to avoid the mistakes that I made along the way regarding my gear. Some of them might be obvious to you guys. Some of them I know hopefully will help out at least, a few of you guys, at least a few of these tips rather, or mistakes will help you guys out along your Watcher of Realms journey as well. So let's just jump right into it here. I want to cover this one first, and it's a poor strategy when it comes to selling and sorting my gear. Now it seems super obvious, but the amount of time I went through without playing this game, without just properly using the stat filter to sell gear is really, truly embarrassing. What am I talking about? Well, I think it's probably obvious, right? Once we get to the mid game, stats, they're not super useful as a main stat on the right-hand side here. So, for a while, I basically always went attack and defense and HP, and I selected all and I sold them, right? But then after that, that's kind of where I stopped things for the most part for a while, right? Eventually, I graduated to sorting attack bonus and crit damage with crit rate as a substat and, kind of looking through and getting rid of what I could, right? But I didn't really take advantage, as embarrassing as it is, to scrolling all the way down in my gear sorting and secondary attributes don't match and selling those, right? So this is something you can use for almost everything. For example, healing effect, there we go, and then attack speed, right? So it's nice and easy just to come down here and trash them. It's really easy, and I wasn't doing it, So just using the proper, I guess, it's not even strategy, just doing a good job sorting, and it goes far beyond just as simple as we're talking about right here. Here's another thing that I've been doing lately, okay? Because it gets a little trickier when we talk about like HP bonus, for example, right? HP bonus main stat. What do I want as my secondary attributes? I might want crit rate, maybe. I might want defense bonus. Maybe if I want a real tanky, I might want rage regen, maybe attack speed. Okay. So it's already going to sort this by secondary attributes completely match. Okay, cool. Secondary attributes partially match. What else do I have here? I would want HP as well. Let me get rid of attack speed, put HP, right? Okay, a partially match, great. But then, I've recently sorted, so there's not a lot here. But then there's, at the very bottom, secondary attributes don't match at all. Am I going to want an HP that has none of those things that I spoke about? Probably not, right? So I can just sell the ones that at least I know the secondary attributes partially match. At least they have one, at least, right, of these substats that I'm looking for on HP based things, right? You might not want crit rate, right? So you can come down, and again, you can look at these. You can either look at them one by one, or you can get a little bit more aggressive and just, sell by rarity, etc., right? So that's number one, is I didn't use the gear sorting tool just to my advantage. It's all right there in the game. It makes it so much easier. And for so long, I was just sitting there at full gear and being like, oh, this is gonna take me forever to sort this. And I would just put it off, and I wouldn't farm as much as I should, Number two is, and this is probably the basic one for you guys, but in the early game, even though I knew everybody said this, get your gear from the shop, get your gear from the shop, blah, 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 I still didn't get most of my gear from the shop. I didn't even listen to my own advice, really, And the thing is, it's not just getting your gear from the shop, but it's also wasting too much time in the early game, too much stamina, where they're very generous with the stamina in the early game, right? But I would waste too much of it farming these super low levels of gear raid. I would be farming, I don't know, gear raid 6 or something, right? I'd be like, ooh, 5 to 6. I've made a big threshold. I've gone from gray to gold. You know what that means? I'm going to farm all night. No. You're gonna outgrow this gear in 2 seconds. Not necessary. Go ahead and use the market instead. Sure, we're gonna have to clear these stages just to make progress, but to farm them, to sit them in an auto battle overnight or whatever, it was dumb and just a waste. It's not like I used that gear for, 3 months and then I upgraded so you can make the argument, well, it got you to the point where you could upgrade. No, I used the gear for like 2 days, I just threw away silver. So get gear from the shop and don't spend tons of time farming gear in the early game. Here's a big one. This is a big one, guys, that I made a mistake on, and you're probably gonna see it. I'm probably gonna be embarrassed right now, but I upgraded so much crappy gear along the way. And I know why I did it, right? I know why I did it, because gear rolls in the beginning of this game, like look at this, right? Gear rolls in the beginning, they're crap. It's hard to get these purple rolls, let alone yellow. It's still hard to get, right? But in the early game with those lesser rarities, you guys know that the rarity of the gear, you can have better rolls on your substats, right? But for me, oh my God, I still am sitting on so much of this crap gear that's at level 12 or whatever, right? Look at this. Come on. Why do I still have this? Why do I still even have this, guys? And I bet a lot of you guys out there are like me. Some of these that I'm clicking past, by the way, probably very sellable as well. But I guess the point is I'm sitting on so many, you haven't even seen the half of it here, guys. Just so much gear. And the problem is, the reason I haven't sold all this stuff up until like this weekend is my big project, some spring cleaning here, is because honestly, you kind of talk yourself into the sunk cost fallacy, right? You're like, okay, well, I've already taken it to level 12. I might as well just hold on to it in case I ever need it, right? No. It's a really bad mentality. Like this crit rate with this. Come on, what am I gonna do with this stuff? At the point that I am in the game now, maybe at the time that I look at this. Maybe at the time when I initially enhanced this gear, maybe at the time you could even make a case. Yeah, maybe you could have used that for, maybe not your top heroes, but whatever, But nowadays, what am I gonna do with this stuff? What am I gonna do with it? Look at all this stuff. Look at all this crap, and it keeps going and going. Look at all the 12s I have on my account, guys. There's an endless supply of crappy gear, and I just sitting on it, and I wonder why my gear is totally full all the time. So I guess the big takeaway is get rid of your crappy gear, okay? Now, and don't wait too long to sell it, okay? I think the biggest thing is when we talk about this gear strategy in general on any of these games, look at this thing, on any of these games, I think the thing is people in general, myself obviously included, I think that we wait too long to continuously upgrade the floor at what we should keep versus sell, right? It's when we're progressing in this game, it's continuing to go up. The floor needs to go up as the type of gear that you're able to acquire goes up as well. It should be this threshold that just continuously rises, meaning that all the gear down here, you gotta sell it. You gotta walk away from it. You can't be a hoarder like yours truly in the game. So I was too slow. Specifically, I want to talk about a specific time in this game that you should change, an easy time to change what you're holding on to, what your idea of a good piece of gear ought to be. And that is from 18 to 19, right? When you can clear 18 and start getting your hands on some really good quality gear here, some ancient mythic gear in 19, in 20, in 21, as you progress in this game, you should also have this big light bulb moment, this big realization that, oh man, the quality of gear that I hold on to now, it's gonna go up. Obviously, we got to use our stamina and farm to get our hands on this gear. But boy, I waited so long. I was sitting on 75% crap gear for so long. Now I'm finally just getting comfortable with saying, hey, I'm past gear raid 19 on all my gear raids. I'm actually cleared 21 on all my gear raids. So I need to really adjust, what I'm holding on to at this point, right? And that's going to help out with my gold as well. You might have seen, guys, I'm sitting on a ton of gold. Not because I've been gold farming. I have not farmed gold raid one time to get any of this 29 million. I've only been farming gear raids. That's it. I've no time in goal raids for me. No stamina spent there. Now, just by selling gear I previously would have kept, I'm able to just farm gear raids and get a lot of gold doing it, you know? And because I have that higher threshold for what I will actually enhance, upgrade in terms of gear, I'm able to just sell more off the bat, and it's great, you know? I'm actually using my stamina and not letting it stockpile endlessly, and I'm getting a lot of gold in the process, you know? The last one is, and you saw it right here, the last mistake I made, and this one's another pretty embarrassing one. It's pretty obvious, but I didn't look. I mean, it says it right here. There's a tournament going on in Gear Raid 3. Okay, so I'll farm Gear Raid 3, you know? How I operate right now on my account is I used to exclusively only farm the Gear Raid dungeon that I was most progressed in, you know, between Gear Raid 2 and 3. I would basically alternate Gear Raid 1, and then for a long time, I was ahead, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are in the same position. I was ahead in Gear Raid 2. I was, you know, stuck at stage 20 for a long time. But Gear Raid 3, I was stuck at stage 19 for a long time. And for that time period, probably about 2 months of this game, I only farmed Gear Raid 2 because I figured, you know, it's the right side. I can farm a higher stage. I'll take it. But I kind of neglected that, you know, most of the really good gear is in Gear Raid 3. And I had a very unbalanced account when it came to the type of sets that I had in my account, right? Furthermore, now I've adjusted my strategy. I think Gear Raid 3 is the best gear raid to farm. Obviously, we need to farm Gear Raid 1 as well, and 2 sometimes, but now I just pay a lot more attention to what events are going on all the time in the game, you know? I take the 2 seconds of my day and I actually look at the event calendar every day, or at least, you know, every other day or whatever. And I just try to just take note. I mean, it's not that hard, right? Just take note of, you know, even if the rewards aren't great for an event, I'm just gonna go after them because check it out. Gear Raid 3, I get all these freebies. I get the diamonds, I get the legendary extract, I get 100K more gold, I get some stamina back. And then who knows, maybe I'll get 3 and
you think you can beat me?
It doesn't look like I'll get 6, but I'll get some some rare summons, excuse me, as well. And it's just like, man, why did I not pay attention to this earlier? There was times I'm sure that there'd be an event going on for Gear Raid 3 and I just did Gear Raid 2 because I was more advanced in that section. I've made my point here, guys, but these are some big mistakes that I made. And like I said, like every step along the way, it never failed. I made some mistakes that I would probably do differently in hindsight. So I hope that you guys are honestly able to learn from any of my mistakes, whether it be, you know, just strategy of sorting your gear based on substats, whether it be your efficiency of stamina, whether it be waiting too long to increase or change that threshold of the floor of gear that you sell, or just not selling your previously upgraded gear, all that crappy level 12, level 16 gear that I'm just sitting on because of the sunk cost fallacy. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching until the end. Let me know if you like this format of just kind of sharing things that I did differently or wrong, excuse me, I would do differently along the way. Would love to make more of them if you enjoy the content. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.